I'd like to call the Human Resource Committee meeting to order. Everyone is here. We want to approve the agenda, please.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I have not received any.
I did not.
All right, Brian, would you like to take over?
Sure. So we just have a couple items of business. The first one is the formal proposals for the staff compensation increases. This is information that you all have reviewed numerous times, and it's been included in the budget drafts. But this, again, is kind of the opportunity for the committee to review it final time. And then an action item that would come out of this would be a formal recommendation to the full board for their approval at the next meeting if it meets your approval this evening. The first attachment is one that, again, that's the WTA negotiations initial proposal that the board exchanged to the Teachers Association that they also requested. And so the second attachment is the formal costing estimate that shows you again what that would cost in terms of compensation increases for the 22-23 year. So I don't know if you all want to review this. I guess I should say if you want, we can open them up or take a look at them, whichever is your preference.
So there's nothing new in these things that we haven't seen.
No, correct. The only thing I would say is that we have reviewed and looked at the third attachment, which is the wage increases for the 5 non-unionized groups. This, I believe, is probably the first time you've seen it broken out by group. We've talked about it. I shared that information with you at a previous meeting. This puts it into writing. And that's the third PDF on the. And so there's two aspects of that. The administrative assistants, classified staff, and custodial maintenance, they are all in wage schedules. So the first part is step movement. And so that's just allowing each of those individuals to advance based on their hiring anniversary. And per the action of this committee earlier this year, there are two advancement dates now, July 1st, and January 1st. And so the step movement just shows the individuals moving from basically one box to the next box. The 4.7% CPI increase shows the system that those are contained in, what the cost is to raise that system up. And then the final two groups, admin and admin support, have traditionally been shown together. There is no schedule there. That's a market-based system. So the cost of the CPI increase is line 1. Catch-up pay is after a review of the peer districts in Dane County, if we have an administrator that falls or admin support member that falls below average, the direction has been to take that person to average. And so we had one individual in that situation, and so that reflects their increase, their cost difference between where they would be going up 4.7%, going up to average and adding 4.7%.
So the two numbers, or all these numbers, 2 million is what we expected, right?
Yep, it's yes, I think it's 2.1. Yeah. 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 Right. Sure. Yeah. Yes.
So you need a motion to move this to the board.
So I would because again you've got the union proposal and the non-union, probably two motions I would say to.
I'm thinking you on the WCS because they're bringing it forward as
Okay,
That's already been agreed with through negotiations. It doesn't need to be voted on here. That was ratified by the full board.
okay,
So we just need a vote on the other part, but it would also include the supplemental pay piece for the teachers. The supplemental pay for the teachers plus the non-unionized groups.
yeah, and so the wage increase costing estimates teacher does include supplemental cost in it.
Correct.
So the email we received from the WTA representative was basically them accepting.
Correct. Yeah.
Except in the 4.7 base, which they will have their side number. We full board will here.
So I would make a motion to move the supplemental pay for the teacher as well as the non-union staff of the district forward to the whole board.
Second.
All in favor?
I
So moved.
The next item of business is the insurance rate. Insurance rate for this year. This again is an item that's approved by the board, reviewed by this committee. And so the health insurance, there is no change. We, fifth year of our current agreement. The insurance committee will be looking at that in more detail mid-May, starting the discussions to kind of set the table for next year's review and planning. And then dental insurance, again, we're self-funded in that area. Note that we have a pretty healthy balance there of $457,000. That built up over COVID when really, some of those things weren't even available to folks. And so what we did last year is we added benefits. We added 2 more benefits to see how that would affect our balance and kept the rate the same. We haven't yet really gathered all the information to know where we're at with that because much of this occurs during the summer. A lot of the optional and more expensive type things parents tend to take family for over the summer or staff take care of over the summer. So I'd really like to see what those months that we have been historically spending more than we take in, what our balance will be after that before we really recommend any kind of change in the balance, change in rates. So again, recommendation of no change in dental. Vision insurance is an optional insurance. Very small amount of our staff choose to participate, but our carrier has offered us a renewal, but that renewal is at 7.9% increase, and then a rate hold. If you could open the attachment, Rebecca, I forget how long they've offered a rate hold for us. So with that, it's on the very
26, June
it's-
26.
Yeah, so a rate hold for 4 years after. That's the
It's at the
bottom.
bottom there.
Yep.
So that increase came from our lack of using that.
No, because we have been using
We
it,
have
right? So folks have those that are using it, which reflects if anyone has the misfortune of wearing glasses, which I see a few of us do. Right? We know what has happened to the cost of glasses over the past few years. They're very expensive, and as a result, their insurance is having to pay some of that cost. So
Where do we fall in terms of number of employees, in terms of negotiating out with Unity, with Dean, with?
oh, you mean for the health insurance?
Yeah, when we get to that point, number of employees less than 500, correct?
Yeah, what I would say is certainly, what our neighboring schools that have been working with courts have found is that I think to a district, they all received over double-digit rate increases this year. And certainly Al, USI, our benefits advisor, could speak even more in detail to this. They have not really been competitive with Dean insurance rates. And so we certainly, again, after this year, we have the opportunity to review that, or after 22, 23, we have the opportunity to review that, and we will. I would say, based on the market right now, we're probably going to have our best opportunity for financial cost containment to work within some of the incentives that they've provided us, and perhaps combinations of some of the offerings that they provided, and then also continuing to our wellness efforts and our clinic use to try to keep ourselves as an attractive, healthy insurance option. And this particular item would be a recommendation from this committee to the full board for their action. If it be so.
Make a motion to move this to full board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Full board.
That's it.
That's it. And so really kind of the, I know I had conversations with committee about perhaps having a reading of handbooks at this point. That was really a poorly plotted out course of my action, because I would have needed to write those within the first week or week and a half of my leave. And I don't know exactly what I was thinking I was going to be capable of doing, but I did not do that. And so I'll be bringing that to the committee later, prior to the June meeting. So that will give us time to review the teaching handbook with the teachers union, and then have this group take kind of final view. And then our other employee groups, the other two handbooks, this committee will review. So it'll be coming later in May or early June, prior to the June meeting.
It might have been a creative handbook.
Well,
A lot of different colors.
I was in relatively good shape in terms of mental clarity. Maybe
Right.
some of the finer details might have escaped me a little bit at that point.
Always interesting.
Yeah.
Always. Any other things that we need to bring? Do we need another meeting set? We'll wait.
We should restructure.
Yeah, so and we'll really, we've got that timing of kind of those couple weeks in June prior to the June meeting, or short amount of June. So I'd say we can certainly wait for you guys to determine new committee members.
All right. So motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.